A pleasant day to all of you out there. It's a happy Friday, and I hope you are looking forward to a happy weekend. It's August 27, 2021, Friday. Welcome to the program agenda. I'm your host, Cito Beltran, and today we hope to give you a very interesting program, not COVID related, not political in nature, but rather about women, young people who are going into business, diving into business, setting up business, while others are trying to keep their heads above the water as their businesses are shutting down. So, kumbaga, may pag-asa. These are people very young, very fashionable people, and we hope it brings a sparkle to your morning and to your weekend. But before we do that, let's first go back to reality. Let's go to the reality of the front page of the Philippine Star. And there you go for the main headline. Pacman still gunning for presidency in 2022. And on the upper head of the newspaper, IATF reviewing policy on face-to-face classes. And under the banner, we have the ex-cop convicted for murder of mother and son in Tarlac. Palas says, no Zarzuela, Rodi to run for VP. Mukhang may nagre-react sa mga nasasabing Zarzuela laang yan. And on the lower half of the paper, we have the COVID tally of Philippine cases. Unfortunately, it is at the high of 16,313. And the number of deaths or people who died from COVID as of yesterday, still high at 236. And below on the side is Concepcion pushes for Bakuna bubble, or a program where only vaccinated people will be allowed into certain business establishments or area. Then over 20,000 more healthcare workers set to get their risk perks. Government prodded to act on vaccine tripartite agreements. Stay Safe app useless. DICT told to explain. And in the photos, you have Senator Cynthia Villar, and I believe that's also, Congresswoman Camille Villar of Las Piñas during the inauguration of the River Drive, which connects Casimiro Village and Alabang Zapote Road in Pamplona 3, Las Piñas. And on the other side, you have San Miguel Corporation President Ramon Ang presenting Olympic weightlifting champion Hidelin Diaz a 10 million check as part of her incentives for winning a gold medal in Tokyo. So that's the front page. Now let's go to the stories behind the front page. Senator Manny Pacquiao will still run for president in 2022 national elections. This is what his spokesman, former Bacolod Congressman Monico Puentebella, told the Philippine Star yesterday. Pacquiao previously said he will officially declare his political plans in October. Well, that all depends really on his health check, and chances are on his rematch with the Cuban boxer, Olympic boxer who defeated him, Ugas. Okay, meanwhile, the IATF is preparing a presentation to help President Rodrigo Duterte decide on the proposal of holding pilot, we repeat, pilot testing muna yan, face-to-face classes in low-risk areas. The palace said the task force will have its report before the opening of classes in September. Duterte previously said he would allow face-to-face classes again if many persons have been vaccinated. Meanwhile, the palace asks the Department of Information and Communications Technology, or DICT, to explain why the Stay Safe app had very limited effect on contact tracing efforts. Okay. This after Health Secretary Francisco Duque III admitted to senators that the application had almost no impact on contact tracing. The Interior Department, however, claimed that Stay Safe app has helped the government in tracing COVID-19 patients and their close contacts. And the answer to that is because kanya-kanya po tayo sa Pilipinas. To each his own, and because the implementation of certain protocols or policies have been inconsistent. Okay, kamusta po sa mga kaibigan natin sa Pangasinan? We commiserate with you, especially if you are from Calasiao, Lingayen, Bugalyon, Sison, Villasis, Pozo Rubio, Aguilar, and Urdaneta City, because I understand things have gotten really bad there, and the officials are thinking of ECQ na yata. In fact, one of my friends, Mr. Densko, said that they can't even go to the bank anymore, and everything would have to go online because cases have really gone up. By the way, we would like to express our condolence to the family of Mayor Nene Aguilar. Hindi ko po alam na best friend pa sila ng tatay ko, BFF sa sabong. So, I suppose by now they are both going to enjoy their sultadas in heaven. And okay, let's go to our quote of the day. It comes from the book of Joel, chapter 2, verse 28. After that, I will pour out my spirit upon everyone. Your sons and your daughters will prophesy. Your old men will dream dreams, and your young men will see visions. Okay. And ano po ang connection? What is the connection of this particular passage for today? Well, we're interviewing two young individuals who, in spite of the challenges of COVID, lockdowns, etc., they have been busy setting up their business. The interesting thing is, like in one case, one of the guests we will have, the one for second interview, is a college student. She's actually a very, very close friend of my daughter, Hannah, and she put up her own makeup line. So medyo parang, makeup? Kaya mo yan? Di ba chemist kailangan? Etc., etc. But before that, let's go to someone who is the CEO and president of Trainstation Singapore, Philippines, and Hong Kong. She is also a social and emotional intelligence coach, an NLP trainer, whatever that means, international motivational speaker, and a best-selling author of the book Captivating Communication. Let's bring in Carelle Mangaliag-Herrera. I hope I said your name correct, Carelle.
Yes, you did. I'm from Pangasinan also, so Mangaliag. Yes, thank you. So, amazing morning.
Well, thank you for joining us, and I'm going to be very transparent. I'm just sick and tired of reading bad news, bad statistics, bad data, and it has been, in spite of the fact that I too give talks every now and then, I find it a challenge to motivate myself. Kumbaga, it is if only by the grace of God that I have motivation to get out of bed because of all the bad news that I hear, even in bed. So, pati nga yung cellphone, di ko na binubuksan. But given the situation, well, first of all, can you please explain to us why you have a company named Trainstation? Kasi when I read Trainstation Singapore, sabi ko, Singapore ba siya? Train? Yung train ng business niya? Social siya.
Actually, Cito, it started here in the Philippines. So we incorporated here in the Philippines. And the reason kaya naging train station, kasi nakasakay ako sa train sa Singapore habang iniisip ko, ano kaya magandang training company na pangalan? Sabi ko, hala, nasa train ako. Training company siya eh. So sabi ko,
Mm.
station kaya ng training. And sabi ko, pag nasa Singapore ka or nasa first world country ka, katulad ng sabihin na natin, nasa UK ka or nasa Europe ka, di ba? Ang bilis ng transportation kasi everything is so interconnected na kung gusto mo pumunta from point A to point B, madali. Kasi meron kang train.
Okay.
Meron kang bullet train. So I said, is there a faster way to get to where we want to go? And because our expertise, yung kanina, hindi mo maintindihan ko ano, NLP is Neuro-Linguistic Programming, which I've been doing for almost 3 decades already. And
Neuro-linguistic
Neuro-
programming. In-explain mo na, hindi ko pa rin naintindihan.
Nosebleed nga minsan kasi neuro, brain, linguistic language. What's the narrative in your head? What's the narrative that you're reading? What's the narrative that is, most prominent when you wake up in the morning? And if it's like, diba? Then it affects your program. It affects how you behave. It affects how you feel. So the brain is the seat of all emotions, decisions, actions. So paano ko set up yung brain ko? That's what we train people on. How do I prime my brain? And because of that, we've been we're not necessarily new, but what is new for us last year was that we incorporated Trainstation North America. We've been in existence for 10 years. I've been doing, we were an offshoot from a previous training company that I also owned. So basically, mga 20 years na rin yung ginagawa namin dito. But what was new was the new businesses we decided to start last year and in Brain Strong initiative.
Okay, wait a minute. New
Yes, sir.
businesses you started last year. That's what caught my attention. That there are actually people who are bold enough, brave enough, or crazy enough to start a business in 2020, 2021. Because, most people are saying, how do I survive? How do I level down? And how do I close shop?
Yeah, exactly. We felt that. First 3 months, takot na takot kami ng asawa ko because my husband and I own this. And I said, close shop na tayo. May dividends tayo. Let's go. Let's be secure. Let's give our people their, whatever it is that we need to give them. And, but my husband said, he really looked me in the eye and reminded me that this is not God's design and that this is not why we built this company in the first place. This is not for selfish reasons and not for me.
Carelle, I don't like your husband anymore. I don't like people who play the God card on me. Parang, hello, how am I supposed to argue against that? Ginamit mo na yung Diyos eh.
I know, right? He's so smart. So he's like, and then when he said that, kasi ever since naman we're a very high purpose company. We're all about helping people. When we had no income, when we had zero income, and we used to do a lot of live trainings face to face. So we had to pivot into online training, right? Pero one other thing is we needed to pivot our products. That's why we needed to invest too.
Yeah, wait a minute. Just so that people get a right orientation, okay, your business is essentially, bottom line, it's about training.
Yes.
Okay, what are the products that you provide under this training bubble?
We provide training engagements that are like events. So if you have a motivational talk, we provide the full package, not just the speaker, but the entire staging, the entire field. So down to the confetti blizzards, we create experiential team building. So it's the whole show, it's the whole shebang. So the live component is very important. Like if you'd see there, I'm dancing around, I'm jumping up and down with people. That's the kind of energy we bring. How do you do that online, right? So we had to come up with something like an on-demand program, an on-demand product right now, wherein para siyang Netflix, anytime, anywhere you can learn. But there is our brand there, which is the fun, the entertainment. Because there are a lot of learning management systems out there. You click, you watch the video, and then that's it, right? Whenever you want to. Ours kasi are bite-sized and it's fun. There's a lot of games. There's Sudoku after every video. So we put our brand in something, and that's what we had to invest on. And it was daring, but people need to have other avenues for learning. Instead of yung nakaganyan lang yung screen and people will learn, we still brought entertainment, even if it is in online training.
Okay, clearly your training style is very hip, youth oriented, motion based, and it's an action and oral experience. Pero do people go away learning something? I don't mean to, but parang hello. We sometimes when you have so much fun, you forget what it was all about.
The interesting thing is everything that we're doing is based on science. Everything that we're doing, it's just not we're not telling everybody here's the science behind it, but we make sure that everything, even the words that we use, even the learning points that we talk about, are carefully embedded into the program. So yes, people jump up and down and stuff in the end, but prior to that, when people are wondering why is it that she got everyone to do that, or all the participants were so engaged, it's because when the brain is engaged, you have to know that you have to get its attention. First and foremost, if you don't have its attention, it will not learn. You have to generate learning from that person that they can apply into their personal lives and work. So it's not just fun. You cannot have fun without a generation into their life and into their work. And that's one of our strengths as an organization. Is we get into the world of our clients. We find out their pains. We even start talking like them when we do training. So importante sa amin yung assimilation, having the right language, and giving the client a really customized program para alam namin yung pain. And that's why in this pandemic, it was so much needed kasi yung talagang who's in pain? Everyone is. How do we, and everyone says, let's keep on warrioring on, let's achieve. But their people are not okay. So that's where we help.
Okay, now I get, and I'm probably wrong, but I get the impression that your training programs are geared more to people who are below 30 and below. Kasi I'm sorry, no. In my training,
Why are you
most of the
laughing?
people I train are 40 and above,
Oh my
and
goodness, sir.
they go through the drill sergeant. Ako yung either I'm Bishop Beltran or Master Sergeant Beltran, and they go through hell.
You have different ways of leading and teaching. And just recently, I finished training all the commissioners of COMELEC. So it really is customized. It's like, who do we call when our people are helpless? Who do we call when our people are down, ubus na? When our warriors are depleted, who do we call so that they can feel that they are still energized, empowered, equipped, they can stand again? And our science is really based on resilience. It's really based on how do you train on grit. So we teach that that's why Brain Strong is all about that. How do you teach the brain to be more resilient? And there are simple and practical ways that you can utilize so that you can rise up strong, wake up better.
Okay. How did you guys adapt? Because, when COVID struck and all these lockdowns happened and we couldn't do live training or classroom training, I'm embarrassed to admit it, but I said, I'm not touching that. This is too different. There is no personal relationship. I'm a in-your-face kind of trainer, and video, not my world. But how did you guys do it?
Well, you are making a difference with this show that you're doing, and it is still video. So, how do you now make sure that even if we are socially distanced, we can still be socially connected? How can we display and show and elicit emotions in the trainings that we're doing, even if it's on video? So, that's what we tried to replicate. So, the first 3 months, no income. But in the first 3 months, oh, we studied as hell. Like, we've done a lot of change management programs for most of the multinationals that we've been handling. And imagine change management.
Sandali. Sandali, Karel. Change management. Tagalog niyan, pinalayas.
Or agility na lang. Kasi naging byword ang agility prior to the pandemic. So sabi ko, apply natin. Guys, let's not talk about it. Gawin natin ngayon at this time. So we researched, we studied, we tested, and I told my team not to sell. I told my team, first 3 months, do not sell. What you need to do is to go to our clients right now and tell them that during the best years of their lives, they were there for us. When they were successful, they were there for us. Now that times are tough, we're going to be there for them. Give them free trainings. So we started doing free trainings for all our clients. Why did we do that? Because, it's a way for us. I mean, we're a company that builds motivation. So let's try helping out people. So we gave things out for free. We started practicing that way. And then I had a
Well,
call.
you're also able to keep the connection fresh or
Yes.
live.
Yeah.
Instead
And
of
we're just,
instead of being cut out, you remain connected. So it's a good strategy.
they cried to us. They've been, sobbing to us, telling us their frustrations. And we've seen them break down. And
What's the biggest challenge or the biggest fear of your clients?
closing down, losing all of their employees. That's especially at the start, like how do we turn things around? You have a petrol company and no one's gassing up, right? And how many gas boys are there in this country? And we probably trained majority of all of their gas boys. So ganun yung parang masakit. We were crying kasi I would see posts of some of these gas boys who are really excellent and they started losing jobs. So that's a reality. Or but buti na lang though bumalik, alam mo yon, and it's a global company, so hindi naman talaga nila problema yung ganon. They can find different ways of pivoting, but there are a lot, the restaurant businesses that I know of, nakaka-start pa lang,
Yeah.
yung sakit kasi kakaumpisa pa lang. Or even the big fast food companies na talagang naglagay ka sa mall kasi alam mo doon yung surefire kita, biglang boom, wala. And we've been training even the franchise owners just to elevate how they felt during that time. And I think we were blessed also, Sito, kasi may tumawag sa akin na NGO. And sabi nung NGO, Carelle, there's 55,000 public school teachers that we need to train. Because imagine mo, from teaching face-to-face, mag-o-online sila. So there's resistance. Diba? Kagaya na sabi mo kanina, or sabihin sa akin ng teacher,
Oh,
ma'am,
don't tell me. I've trained a lot of public school teachers.
exactly.
They are fun to be with, but
Yeah,
they like to be there. Hindi sila
yeah, yeah.
yung parang ang hirap na nga ng buhay kung nakapako ako sa mesa, ipapako mo pa ako on screen.
Oo. At masakit kasi parang sabi nila, face-to-face nga, hirap ako mag-motivate. Asahan mo pa ako gawin yan online. Tapos, yun nga, nakapungko sila sa ilalim ng puno habang nagte-training with us. Imagine, but we were able to accomplish 75,000 public school teachers.
Okay.
And yes,
So it's clear you're doing online training now. You're able to shift. You stayed connected with your customers. But what exactly do your clientele or do your participants learn? What are the learning modules or kumbaga ano yung menu? May alam akong konti, digital menu. Ano yung menu ninyo?
our main menu is really about brain science applied in leadership. It's applied in customer service. It's applied in sales teams. So it's really about people and processes. But how do you incorporate insights on neuroscience, applied neuroscience? Kaya nakakatawa kasi biglang pupunta ako sa applied neurosciences. I talk about decision making and the brain. I talk about creativity and the brain. How do I sell to a person with a different need? Kasi iba-iba ang needs ng tao, and there are models based on neuroscience that talks about, or like right now in this pandemic, the most badly hit need that we have is autonomy. Nawalan tayo ng autonomy and the sense of fairness. So that is based on a SCARF model that is lauded by the Neuro Leadership Institute. So we train that but we put it in such a way that people will remember it because it is so relatable to them. So that's what yun yung specialization namin po na paano natin imo-motivate yung tao para mag-decide ng tama, paano natin siya imo-motivate na magbenta hanggang ngayon and mag-lead. Kasi ang hirap mag-lead ngayon, virtual teams ka. So nung nag-pivot kami, we also came up with virtual online meetings, virtual effectiveness. We came up with online neuroscience of online presentation. So we came up with different products to cater to the new normal.
Pero, I don't know, I don't want to belittle the general audience. But, once you start talking about medical terms, scientific terms, and, this new, sabi nga nung iba, new age jargon, can you kindly shut down the monitor for me because I can't stand this or I'm having nosebleed?
Yeah. Sir, Cito, what I like about the methodology of how we're doing it and how we've been doing it for more than 2 decades is that it's relatable. Kaya nga pag sinabi mong brain, nagno-nosebleed na. Kaya pag nakita mo yung picture, imagine a marriage of brain, the topic of brain meets eskwela. So parang
Okay, sige. Gumamit ka na ng term na applicable sa amin eh. Kwela. Ano kami? Joey De Leon. Okay. Ganito. We'll go for a quick break and then we'll come back to you after the break. Then just share with us how you run the business and what is the prognosis of your business. Kasi parang mukhang tatagal pa ito eh. Itong COVID. So what should people bear in mind? How do they connect to you? Why should they connect to you? Okay, we'll go for a quick break, Carelle. We'll be right back here on Agenda. Okay, welcome back to the program Agenda. I'm your host, Cito Beltran, and you are watching us via Cignal TV channels 8 and 250, as well as through the services of PLDT Home Fiber Optic Internet. Sobrang bilis. Okay, now let's go back to our guest, Carelle Herrera. Okay, hindi ko na sinabi. Mangaliag. Okay, di ba? Okay, Herrera, Trainstation. Okay, now, Carelle, okay, so you are a neuro-linguistic training expert. You are into corporate training. Now, COVID-19, lockdowns, etc., business collapsing, etc. What are your, kumbaga, these are the 10 commandments that any business owner, CEO should do to survive and to be able to project to the future?
Well, the first and most important thing siguro is to go back to your intention, why you've built the organization, ba't ka nagtayo ng company. So, intention, purpose. And then after that is repurposing kung hindi siya mag-work right now. So, you look at which of my products are still working, which of my products would still fly. Can I adjust it in a different way? And very important din po yung agility. Kasi as leaders, kami ng asawa ko, we're very and then what people. O sige, binigay mo sa amin to, and then what? You know, pag kinausap mo kami about a problem that you have, ang lagi naming tanong is, and then what? What can
Well,
be done?
excuse me, what do you mean and then what?
And then what do we do?
Kasi sa akin, I mean, gets ko naman yun, ano? But for most people who don't, they'll say, Carelle, ano ibig mo sabihin and then what?
Then what? O ano na susunod? Anong pwedeng gawin? Kasi pagka sinabi mong bawal mag-training live, okay, and then ano ang pwede? Ano yung pwede? Pwede tayong mag-Zoom. And then what? And then what is there? There is Zoom, there's WebEx.
Wag mo nang
Study this.
wag mo nang hintayin. Don't wait for it to happen. Figure out if this happens, then what? If that
Yes.
happens,
Yes.
then what? Ayun. Okay. Carry on.
Kang mag-isip na parang, if this is happening right now, then how do I respond to it? I think kasi agility, I have an agile team. They're very fast in responding to things, and they're very resilient. Important din yung resilience na yun.
But is this and then what mentality worth the time and effort given the fact that 8 out of 10 and then what's don't happen?
What if the two are brilliant? I just have that kind of mind.
Alam mo, talagang match made in heaven kayo ng asawa mo. Pareho kayong pilosopo sumagot. Okay. Huwag ka mag-disagree. Mawawala ka sa focus sa camera. Balik ka dyan.
Sorry.
Okay.
Balik tayo
So,
dito.
but it's a good answer. Many CEOs I've spoken to have that attitude. Cito, kung hindi naman mangyari, sayang ang panahon, sayang ang oras. But correct answer. What if the 2 out of 10 and then what's na sinabi mo nangyari, it actually happened, then you at least can take it out of the medicine cabinet or the, in case of fire, pull lever. Diba?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so then...
Yeah. And then another thing is kasi when I talk about resilience, kaakibat kasi ng resilience, yung kawalan ng resilience is helplessness. And helplessness is very rampant in a lot of things. And this has been more than a 50-year study, yung learned helplessness. And yung wala ka nang ginagawa, wala kang gagawin, kasi alam mong wala namang mangyayari. That's learned helplessness. And to really just be there and wallow in anxiety sometimes or even depression. And ang kaakibat kasi na pag-cure or pagtulong nun is that scientifically proven to get you out of helplessness, you need the counter of it, which is hope. You need the counter of that. Another counter of that is optimism, and learned optimism can happen. So how can I learn to be hopeful, optimistic, so that I can be more resilient? So those are the things.
Yeah, that's very important, ladies and gentlemen, yung sinasabi ni Carelle na learned optimism. Kasi lumaki ako negatron because so many people around me kept shooting me down. And when I became a Christian, it is one of the process that I had to undergo. I had to learn optimism. I had to understand and appreciate hope and believe in it. So, nabago. Pwedeng mangyari yon, kayang gawin yun. We can do that. We can learn optimism. Okay, continue, Carelle. You have 5 minutes.
Yeah, and I think that's why I like yung when we encapsulated our new product called Brain Strong. Bakit? Kasi instead of talking about mental health and just depression and anxiety, let's train the brain to be stronger. Let's look at the right muscles, just like, biceps. Let's look at the right muscles in our brain that we can make strong. And if we talk about optimism, what about it that can make people strong? Can I train myself to generate more positive emotions? And I'm not talking about happiness and joy lagi. Hindi. We can talk about contentment. We can talk about peace. We can talk about awe. Like in the midst of a pandemic, have you ever stopped and looked around and said, wow, I'm still grateful I'm alive? Or I look outside and I'm like, wow, look at that. Look at that tree outside my house. So do we find moments of serenity? So generating a positive emotion is very important that we can build. Can I focus on engagement? Can I train myself to engage in what I love to do? As a leader, it's very important to focus on what is it that you really love doing, by the way, in this. And I love culling programs. And that's what I focused on to generate new products. And please, leaders, business owners, make sure that you're connected. Make sure that you have good positive relationships, especially in pivoting a business. Talagang ang laking tulong po nung tulungan mo naman ako, tulungan tayo. Like what I said about the guy who called me and asked for help, and we were able to finish 75,000 public school teachers. Walang kita yon, Sito. It was all about partnership and friendship because sabi namin, tulungan natin ang teachers, tutulungan ko rin ang trainers ko para magkaroon sila ng kita during a pandemic, and let's make a difference in the world. And it was actually acknowledged by Barack Obama in one of his talks. So I'm like, yay, we did it. And finally, the two things that I'd want to share is go back to the meaning of why you do it. And every day when you're so tired, I just bring it back to my
Yeah,
meaning. Yes.
Carelle, is it possible, I'm just going to ask it. Is it
Sure.
possible that there comes a point in life when the meaning's gone? Like the meaning's gone, and I just want to get the hell out of here. I just want to lock the door and walk away.
Yeah.
Or this, how do I tell that this isn't for me anymore?
Mhm.
And you need to move on. Hindi, wala po akong no sentiment sira. Some of you might start accusing me, Beltran, you're thinking of something bad. No, 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 no. I'm just saying that
Mhm.
I have seen that in
Yeah.
relationships, business, in politics na some people have told me, Sits, parang sino ba yung magaling? Michael Jordan.
Mm.
Michael Jordan was my inspiration when I went to hiatus. One day he said, well, there was no challenge. Larry King said, one day I realized that the people I was working with were no more were not fun to play with anymore, and I just packed it up.
Mhm.
What do you do when you feel that way?
A lot of people that I've talked to, especially leaders, CEOs, have felt that way because of many reasons. Iba-iba. Like one would be burnout. I'm so tired already. It's physical exhaustion. So what I tell these leaders is to, parang kang warrior, kahit na gusto mo pang magbigay, pagod ka na talaga. So some people go through a sabbatical or a pause man lang, hinto. And maganda nga yung nangyari sa pandemic for me because I learned to stop, literally stop and quiet my thoughts and really find out, recalibrate. Why am I doing this? Why do I need to keep doing this? Kasi pwede nga hindi eh. So the other reason is like what I said a while ago, helplessness. Because you keep on a certain track and it's not changing. And then the other thing, just like Michael Jordan is a different story too because he was also going through grief.
Mm.
Sometimes big life changes that we experience pivot our meaning. It really boom shakes us up and says, do I really want to do this? Is this really important? Is this what I really want? So, yes, it can change. It can change, but really life altering moments in your life would do that. So, I would always tell people, you need to pause and say, and when I was asked by a person, okay, I want to climb Everest. Once I'm on Everest, I'm done, right? So, what
Mhm.
else do I do? I've reached the summit. And then I said, and then go to the deepest part of the ocean or go to the widest plains or there are still many things to do, so it's not necessarily just one spot that you need to focus on.
Okay, well, Karel, unfortunately, like, sabi nga nung CEO ng Porsche who I once interviewed, he said, or was he president something, he said, we intentionally do not supply the full demand. We are always 20% short of the demand para lagi kayong bitin. Okay, so our audience will be bitin, but I am sure we will be inviting you back on a more regular basis because it has been such a fun conversation. And I think you've already shared a lot of tips. And I do hope, but last but not the least, for this day at least, how do people get in touch with Gorill?
They can get in touch with me by going to our website. It's www.trainstation.com.ph, or you can just go on Facebook and look for Train Station or look for me, Carelle Herrera. Message us anytime. Even for free coaching, we still provide free coaching at this time for people with anxiety and going through stuff.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Carelle Mangaliag-Herrera
Thank
and
you.
of Train Station. Hope to be speaking with you in the near future. Thank you, and God bless you.
God bless you.
Okay, that's Carelle for you. And then let's now go to someone who who is close to our heart. She's bestie with my daughter Hannah, but she has really made an impression with a lot of people because she's the owner of Hypergleam. Now, some of you it is a Hypergleam makeup line. Now, that in itself is already an achievement, but the fact that she is a second year or sophomore college student at UP ba siya? Hindi, taking up, hindi pala UP. At Ateneo de Manila University, let's bring in Miki Luson. Good morning, Miki. For the
Hi,
record,
Kuya Cito.
okay, hi Mickey. For the record, Mickey is Filipina ha, of Chinese descent, hindi po siya Korean. Kasi people will start mistaking you for Korean, my dear Mickey. Now, Mickey, when Hannah told me that you were coming up with the makeup line, my jaw literally fell because I saying, "What? How on earth is she going to do that? That's going to be so complicated. You need to understand chemistry. There's so much science in it, and factory, laboratory, etc."
Mhm.
But what? How long has it been? A year? 2 years?
Yeah, it's been a year. I launched the actual brand on July 25, 2020. And I also had the same perspective as you that parang producing makeup is so complicated. Like you need to actually know chemistry. But because of my passion for makeup and my desire to learn more, through research, I was able to discover that there are actually some products that are simple to make. So, what I released, which is lip gloss,
Uh-huh.
that's what I carry right now as a main product. I discovered that it's actually very simple to make and it's very customizable. So, for lip gloss, it's an oil based product. And you can actually choose any kind of oil that you want to put into it. So I got really inclined to that because at the time lip gloss was getting more popular and there wasn't a lot available in the local market.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to try making my own because at the time I was also newly certified as a makeup artist and I was really trying to kindle my passion in makeup. So I just wanted to make lip gloss for myself, no business in mind. I really just wanted to try it out. And so I researched on the different oils and I was able to come up with my own formula.
Okay, so you did this literally on your own. You didn't have to hire out or job out to a company or a or laboratory group to formulate this because, I mean, I still think it's such a complicated process. I mean, I already get confused just trying to drink my daily maintenance medicine, much less putting up with a moisturizer or lip gloss.
Yeah, well, it was just really something almost like baking or cooking because you have to look for the ingredients that you want to use and research on how well they work together, and it's just like coming up with your own recipe. And for me, I wasn't intimidated by it because I
Mhm.
would see that there were other international brands that were starting businesses in their homes also. And because of that, I got really inspired to try making my own gloss and see where it goes. I was able to release it to family and friends first, and then after getting a lot of good feedback from them, that's when I decided to really make it into a business, a long-term one, because it's always been my goal to have a makeup brand, but I didn't know that it would come this soon. I was just doing something that I was really passionate about, and yeah, so this is what it came.
Okay, how many attempts did you have to make? How many failed experiments did you go through before you finally came with the first one and said, I think this actually works?
Yeah, actually, it's actually so simple because there's just this one base ingredient, and then after that, you just have to add the oils that you want and the pigments that you want. And I'm actually really surprised because I did not have to go through a lot of revisions before reaching the formula I'm at now.
Mm-hmm.
It's really just a blessing also because I really didn't expect it to go even par with international brands. But then hearing from content creators now, they would even compare it to, like international brands and say that it's better. And I think that it all just paid off because of the research that I was doing. Like before getting the ingredients, I was really reading up on like, because the Hypergleam formula is infused with sweet almond oil, sunflower oil, and avocado oil.
Yeah.
And those three oils are what I really chose because of their unique benefits to the lips. But I didn't expect that it would actually be super effective. And
Mm-hmm.
so when I first made the formula, there was already not much that I had to change. It was more of like
Okay.
just adjusting the intensity of the pigment, but the base of the Hypergleam formula has remained the same ever since it started.
Okay, now how did you come up with the name Hypergleam? Because it's not something that is ordinarily heard. Hypergleam is a bit uh, up there.
Yeah, okay. So the reason why I chose that name is because I really wanted to come up with a unique word that will be the first result on Google. Like when you search it, it's not something that actually has already existed. And it came from me just exploring the different words that are used to describe lip gloss, but not
Mm-hmm.
only confined to just lip gloss because I already knew that I wanted to expand further in the future. So I got the word gleam, and the word hyper is like is something fresh and new, and like kasi there's the word hype that people use to describe, like trendy products or trendy things.
Yeah.
And so that's why the reason why I was able to come up with this word is because I was just exploring words, doing different kinds of wordplay with, adjectives and nouns. And when I came to Hypergleam, I actually had help from friends also. It just really stuck to my mind, and it was like really something that I could see could be like a memorable word to a lot of people.
Well, that's obviously, it really sticks. So that's good. Now,
Mm.
you said earlier that putting up the formula, the product was not as complex or complicated as most people think, but you can come up with a lot of recipes, a lot of products, but the biggest challenge in putting up a business is the marketing, the public acceptance, and on top of all of that, you also have COVID-19 lockdowns. Did it help that everybody has to compete online, or what challenges did you face?
Yeah, actually that's the biggest challenge that I was facing because there were a lot of lip gloss brands that were emerging at the same time and even before I got the chance to launch Hypergleam. But I think that it's really important that I paid attention to the actual branding of the product, not just the formula, but how it's presented online. And when
Hmm.
you notice other cosmetics brands, usually it's like pink, peach, and then like script fonts. But then, as you can see here in my branding, I decided to use like more unconventional colors
Hmm.
and a different, like a sort of gothic font, even. And it's just a sort of like way to stand out from other brands. Because from what I see now is that most brands are still going with like the girly presentation.
Yeah.
Well, while Hypergleam is girly, it still has like like blue glosses, purple glosses, and it's really my goal to deviate from what's already in the market, and I think that's really the strength of Hypergleam.
Okay, now how many slave laborers do you have at home? I
Um,
I think
I
you know what I
actually,
mean because even
yeah.
your Tita Karen complains that she is a free labor or slave labor to me or to Hannah. In your case, I can just imagine. Well, first of all, your parents. What is their
Mm.
participation? Because you're a second year college student in Ateneo. And most parents will say, Mickey, it's fine. We know you love makeup, but you got to concentrate on your studies. What was the role of your parents in this process?
Well, I think being at home has really helped in my time management because despite being a student, it's easy to switch in between tasks because everything is just in the laptop now. No more travel time needed and just at home. And I've actually been able to manage Hypergleam by myself because the
Mhm.
restock is like by batch. So when I have time, like on weekends away from school, that's when I'm able to produce like a big batch of glosses and that lasts like 2 months already. And so that's when every time I have to restock or every time there's like a sale and there's a lot of orders to ship out the next day, I'm able to get help from my mom. She just helps me like in the little things like sticking the shade stickers on top of the glosses or just helping with me with the packaging. But
Mhm.
I've realized recently that I needed help already in social media. And so I
Yeah.
was able to actually get an intern just last week. And since then, we've been working on really elevating the marketing even more, like making the community more engaging, making the content more relevant and more frequent to attract more people.
The generation before you, as far as business is concerned, their mentality before COVID happened was, build up a business just enough so that it's got traction, it's got following, and when it makes its first X millions, sell it. Now, as for you, you are a certified makeup art professional, makeup artist. Uh, are you looking at Hypergleam as your baby that you want to expand and establish the same way that other Filipinos have put up such products, or is this going to be just the beginning towards other concepts?
Um, in my current goals, I really just want to expand Hypergleam because it's really a passion of mine, and there's actually already a a company that was expressing that they wanted to acquire it, and I was like, no, I really don't want to let go of Hypergleam because I can see its potential, and it's something that I worked hard on, even though it's only been a year. I think it's very important that there's already the foundation that's built and it already has like loyal supporters, loyal customers. And I only have so many ideas that I'm about to carry out. And even if it means like a big sum of money, I don't think that I can really just find something else to be this passionate about. So yeah, I really just want to build it up even more in the coming years.
Okay, now in terms of plans for Hypergleam, are you going to keep it local? Because I know your father, Sam Luson, who is Wheels Gallery, Concept One, he has, through the years, established a network of business connections all over the region and even in the US. Are you following in his tracks in terms of setting up distributorship abroad?
Yes, I have already actually shipped a few abroad
Mm-hmm.
uh, because people, for some reason, like through social media, they're able to discover brands, and there are people from like Mexico, the US, who've been wanting to order. I tell them that the shipping fee is very expensive because I only ship through DHL, and that's like pricey, but then they're still willing to buy it. And there's even one customer that's ordered around 4 times, and she's from the US. And so I think there's really potential even beyond local markets. But I haven't figured out how to do that yet. I really want to though.
Are you planning to get endorsers for the product?
Right now, the beauty community is very saturated with not only brands but content creators. And content
Mm-hmm.
creators are those people who build up their social media accounts by endorsing products, and they're not necessarily celebrities, but
Mm-hmm.
they focus on making reviews about the product, describing it to other people, and taking photos of it, making videos, and that's how brands are able to recognize them and work with them. So I think a lot of people have decided to take that path because we're all at home, and that's also a reason why cosmetics brands are thriving. So yes, I have a group of content creators, and they help me to show Hypergleam online and also to make photos and videos that we can use as content. Yeah.
Okay, well, that's interesting because, of course, your Tito Cito's generation, it's all about endorsers, artistas, athletes,
Yeah.
etc. But in your generation and Hannah's generation, obviously everything has been digitalized. Content
Mm.
creators are ruling the roost. Now, as far as people voluntarily stating, "Oh wow, I use Hypergleam." Has anyone come out among the celebrities?
Actually, it's hard. It's really hard to reach celebrities as a small business. So
Mm-hmm.
what Hyperbeam is doing right now is that I'm focusing on trying to reach out to the professional makeup artists who apply the makeup
Mm.
on celebrities, because
Yeah,
not like most celebrities don't do their own makeup looks, and so I think it makes more sense to reach out to the actual make beauty industry, like the professional makeup artists that do makeup on celebrities, and it has actually worked. Like that, my product has been used on Carmina,
yeah.
and aside from her, I think some Miss Universe Philippines candidates, and so
Mm-hmm.
I think that's where it can start building like awareness within the professional community.
Well, we're really proud of you, and I know you're a bit conscious, you're a bit tense because it's your Tito Cito interviewing you. But nonetheless, Miki, you have a good product. My daughter Hannah keeps saying, and this is no flattery. She says, I don't have to wear makeup. All I need is my lip gloss. All I need is this thing from Miki. So it really makes some difference, especially in Holland, where your lips will dry out so quick
Yeah.
and so fast. Anyway, thank you for joining us. And for those who are interested to get your product, how do they reach you, Mickey?
Right now, I'm selling mainly through Shopee, so you can just search for Hypergleam and you'll see everything that's available. And you can also search for the same Hypergleam on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok.
Oh, by the way, I don't know. I don't know if it's a correct question to ask, but are they also okay for men?
Oh yes, I actually because the lip glosses are so hydrating and people have really said great things about the formula for their lips. I came out with this variation that men can use. So
Hmm.
it's a thicker version because I know that men, like, they're less sensitive to and they could squeeze it too hard and it could all just come out. So I made it a
Hmm.
thicker version, and it's more of like a balm talaga that guys can
Hmm.
use. And the reason why I decided to pursue this is because there were men coming to me that they've tried, like my second cousin from my mom's side, he tried the lip glosses from his wife and daughters because he's
Yeah.
been struggling with chapped lips for like so many years, and he said that this is one of the only products that has worked for him, and he has tried like chapsticks from Japan, the US, and so I decided to formulate this so that the packaging is like very neutral and that everyone can use talaga, all ages.
Okay. Well, Mickey, thank you very much for joining us this morning and giving a different perspective to the program. We are so proud of you and Carelle for your services and your products. Thank you for joining us, and God bless you, and stay safe. Okay, that's Miki Luson, owner of Hypergleam, and I will shamelessly endorse that product. I know Miki Luson personally. She is my niece through affinity, BFF of my daughter Hannah. But more than that, I know the product. My daughter has endorsed that product to us. Anyway, let's go to our Netizen report before we run out of time.
5 lawmakers filed a House resolution to dig into the credentials and methodologies of the Octa Research Group. Should Congress continue its planned investigation on Octa? Erwin Gabutan Wea Bangalan says the government is afraid of Octa's findings because it reflects the truth about poor COVID-19 response of the administration. Chaos happened in the first week of the month because social media overflooded by fake news regarding vaccines. How do you discern fake COVID-19 information on social media sites? Millicent de la Cruz reminds, quote, "We should rely on government websites because these information are considered first-hand source, credible and official source." Richmond J. Dancel Pumaning says, most of the time, the shares and likes of a certain post or information does not guarantee its validity and truthfulness. For me, if it does not come from a reliable source or platform, most probably it's not also reliable. The government implemented ECQ last August 6 that affected the mobility of agricultural products. How can the government help the agriculture sector during strict lockdowns? Mark Larens de Tabali suggests, quote, "The government must buy products of farmers and ayuda to ECQ-stricken areas." While Joanna Marie Dancil Nebran says, the government must give them press lanes and transportation allowances to deliver their products.
Okay, well, that's your view and opinion. And in the meantime, I've got to close down the program. Thank you for joining us this week. Thank you for your support. And please give us feedback on the type of shows, personalities you like, so that we can make the necessary adjustments. God bless all of you. Please observe health protocols. Take care. Love you all.